we do like to just go over what I'll show you here on the screen, just so people who are tuning in, it's just good to say it at the beginning, because we technically need to do public comment on each item at the end of each item. And then number 6 is just general public comment, not associated with another item. So it'd be good if you could just quickly go over this, and then we can go into the pledge.
Okay. All right. Public comment instructions. Oral public comment may be provided live during the homelessness task force meeting by first registering for the Zoom meeting in advance by providing email address and a name. After registering, you will receive a confirmation email containing information about joining the meeting. A link will be sent to you to join the homelessness task force meeting in order to give your comments. All registered meeting attendees will wish to speak must click on the raise hand icon when the chair calls for public comments. If participating by calling in on your phone, dial *9 to use the raise hand feature. When you are called upon, hit *6 to unmute your phone. Your phone number will be displayed in the live meeting. The chair or staff will call the speakers to begin. All comments provided shall be limited to 3 minutes or less as determined by the chair. All members of the public will be limited to 1 comment per agenda item and 1 comment for long agenda items. The online written comment from previously used is no longer available for public comment. Okay, let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. Hold on. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Let's move on to roll call.
Okay, so Sarah, do you have the list of names that you can just do a roll call really quick?
I just have the list of members who were present at the last meeting. So
okay, we'll just add one.
I believe
that, which is
there's just one more other than that. Okay. So we have Sanae Alexander.
Here.
Jeremy Bevington.
Present.
Ricky Davis.
Here.
Chair William Lamb.
Here.
Norma Morales.
Here.
Lisa Moreno.
Here.
Tina Zhu.
Present.
Ferdy Centeno. Okay, and Martha Lambden. Okay, and then who is our newest member, Adam?
Barbara Jo Navarro.
I'm here.
Okay, great, thank you.
Okay, let's go on to item 4, approval of agenda. I need someone to have a motion.
Before the motion, can I suggest one change?
Okay.
This is Tina. So the time of the meeting start, I think is 5 o'clock. If my peer can also look at their notes, it's not 5:50. 5:15. It's not 5:15. It's 5 o'clock.
Okay. Adam, should we adjust that? Or
I believe the agenda itself said 5:15.
yeah,
I think the confusion was that the Zoom link was set for 5 p.m. So what's on the published agenda is the official time. At a later time, if you guys wish to discuss, there is an item on tonight's agenda where we'll discuss the time and date of future meetings. So if the task force wishes to have the meeting start at 5, then we can do that. So that could be discussed. That's already on the agenda if you want to discuss
No,
it.
I'm talking about the last one. In my notes, it's 5 o'clock when we start the meeting last time. So I'm asking my peer if anyone have take note too, so we can verify the time.
But right
Okay,
now,
let me clarify. If you look at the minutes under item 3 where it says roll call, it lists the task force members present and it says someone joined the meeting at 5:15, but it does say at the top that the meeting started at 5.
Yeah,
So I think
we're
it's
actually-
accurate on the draft minutes.
And just to clarify, we're on item 4. We're approving tonight's agenda, and then the next item is to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
Oh.
Yeah.
yeah,
But thank
yeah.
you for
Right now is approval to today's agenda, and then seems like today's agenda when I open up the
Yep, it's good.
is 5:15.
Yes.
Tina, do you think you are referring to the last?
Yeah,
agenda?
I'm referring to the minutes, approving minutes.
Oh, okay, that's next item.
Oh, are we? Oh, sorry. My bad. I apologize.
Yeah, that's
So
what
I
I was.
Yeah, I approve the meeting or the agenda for today.
Okay, I need a second, please.
I would
second.
second.
Who's that? Ricky?
Yeah, Ricky, I'll
Okay,
second it.
got it. Ricky is second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Fantastic.
Aye.
Any nay? Okay, I don't hear none. Okay, so
I'm sorry, Chair, can you do a roll call vote for record purposes?
okay, so
Sarah,
should I go one by one at a time? What do you think, Adam?
Yeah, and I know Sarah has the list already in front of her, so if it's easier, Chair, Sarah can just read the names again.
Okay, Cheryl, can you go through the names? I don't have the list in front of me.
Okay, so we have Sanai. I'm sorry, correct me if I'm saying that.
You said it
saying that
correctly.
Okay.
And
Sarah,
yes,
Sanai?
I approve of the minutes. I mean, the agenda for tonight.
Thank you.
Okay. Jeremy,
Aye.
Ricky,
Aye.
Chair William,
Aye.
Norma,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Tina,
Aye.
and I don't believe Ferdy or Martha are here with us. Correct me if you've joined by now. And then Barbara.
Aye.
Okay. Now
Okay,
let's move on to the next item, the minutes from last meeting. Tina, did you mention there's a time you want to?
Yeah, the correction.
Yeah. Let's take a look. Can you bring that up?
Oh, the actual minutes?
Yeah.
All right, 1 second. I just need to navigate to that page real quick. Give me 1 second.
The minutes do say 5 o'clock, that it started at 5, and there was one member that joined late at 5:15. 5:15, but they do state 5 o'clock.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe last meeting was started at 5.
Right. And
So
that's
it was,
what it's supposed
so
to
it
be.
was correct.
Yeah.
Okay. If no objection, I would like someone to have a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
Approve the minute as corrected.
Okay.
I can make the motion.
Second, please.
This is I'll second the motion to approve of the minutes.
Okay. Should we call roll again?
Yeah. Sarah, if you can do that. And also, I think we just had another member join. I think Ferdy Centeno just joined.
Yes, I did. I'm sorry.
Sarah, or was it Sarah? Can you help me on the roll call?
Sure. So we had a motion by Tina and Sinai had a second. So Jeremy,
Aye.
Ricky,
Aye.
Chair William,
Aye.
Norma,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Ferdy, and we're voting on the approval of the minutes.
Aye.
And Barbara,
I wasn't at the meeting.
Oh, that's right.
okay. So we'll mark you as abstain.
So I can't vote on it because I wasn't there.
Right.
Okay, thanks everyone.
Okay. Motion carry. Let's move on to the next item.
Okay.
Okay, public forum. At this time, interested public member may provide comments to the task force on any subject not on the agenda versus Zoom. Commenter may state their name and address for the record and should limit their remarks to 3 minutes or less as determined by the chair. As an agendized item, not response is required of the task force or city staff. However, the task force may request staff to agendize the item for a future meeting. I don't see any public raise their hand, so let's move on to next item. Okay, now we are in business. Item 7, 7A, we have a new member, Barbara, join. Barbara, would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
Sure. I was asked by Mayor Tran to join this task force. I'm happy to be on it. I am a member of the St. Vincent de Paul Society at my local church, St. Elizabeth's. And the purpose of that society is to keep people in their homes. And we work with the folks here in Milpitas to do that contact us. So I'm happy to join this task force, and I'm hoping that we can make some inroads in our homelessness.
Okay, thank you. Welcome. That's 7B, Open Government Ordinance.
Yeah, I'm gonna share. So I'm gonna introduce from our city attorney's office, Martin de Los Angeles, and I'll go ahead and put your presentation up here. Just give me 1 second. Oops, sorry. 1 second.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Today, I'm just going to provide a brief overview of the Brown Act and issues related to communications between task force members, particularly outside of public meetings. So Adam, if you could go to the next slide, please. So just a brief overview. Today's presentation will go over the Brown Act and the city's open government ordinance, serial meetings under the Brown Act, and general guidelines for subcommittees. Next slide, please. So the purpose of the Brown Act, essentially the Brown Act is California's sunshine law for local government, and that's found in California Government Code Section 54950. Basically, the central provision of the Brown Act is that all meetings must be open and public, except when the act authorizes otherwise. So the Brown Act's purpose is to promote transparency and to ensure the public's right to participate in meetings. Next slide, please. And in addition to the Brown Act, the city of Milpitas has enacted its own open government ordinance. And so that ordinance essentially requires all meetings of any public body to comply with the Brown Act. And it specifically states that where there are any inconsistencies, the requirement that would result in greater or more public access will apply. So it's important to keep in mind that the task force is governed under both the Brown Act and also the Milpitas Open Government Ordinance, which requires compliance with the Brown Act, but has stricter requirements in certain cases. Next slide, please. So the Brown Act applies to legislative bodies of local agencies, and this term is defined to include the governing body of a local agency, which here would be our city council, and any commission, committee, board, or other body of the local agency. And under the city's open government ordinance, the Brown Act applies to all policy bodies. And so this specifically includes city-created task forces, such as the homelessness task force. Next slide, please. So the Brown Act also applies to other bodies, such as standing committees. And these consist of less than a quorum of the entire group, but they have what's called continuing subject matter jurisdiction or a fixed meeting schedule. And so these kinds of committees, they make routine and regular recommendations on a specific subject matter. The Brown Act does not apply to temporary advisory committees or ad hoc committees. And these are made up of less than a quorum of the body and serve a limited purpose. So generally, an ad hoc committee is designed to address a specific issue for a limited time, and the committee reports back to the full body. So as long as the committee is made up of only less than a quorum of the full body and the committee is temporary in nature, the committee will not have to meet in public or comply with the provisions of the Brown Act. Next slide, please. So what is a meeting under the Brown Act? The definition of a meeting under the Brown Act is very broad, and it covers almost any gathering of a majority of members to hear or discuss any item of, in this case, task force business or potential task force business. Conversations between members about any issues before the task force are sufficient to constitute a meeting. No action needs to be taken and no meeting needs to occur. A meeting can essentially include any use of direct communication, intermediaries, or technology such as email. Next slide, please. And so the Brown Act prohibits what's called a series of individual contacts if they result in a serial meeting. So a serial meeting is basically a series of separate communications that ultimately involves the whole body. And the Brown Act prohibits this type of communication if it contributes to developing consensus or an agreement among the majority of any particular item. Next slide, please. So serial meetings commonly occur in one of two ways. The first scenario is typically called the daisy chain scenario, and that's where one member contacts another member to discuss business, and then the second member contacts a third to discuss the conversation, and so on. So this will occur when there's a chain of communication involving member A to member B, who then communicates with member C, and so on, until a quorum has discussed, deliberated, or taken action on an item. And a second scenario is called a hub and spoke version. And that occurs when one member individually contacts other members to discuss an item of business. When a person acts as the hub and communicates individually with the various spokes, which are the other members, until a quorum has been contacted, then a serial meeting occurs. This can also take place where a staff member communicates with the majority of members one by one for discussion, deliberation, or a decision on a proposed action. So this form of communication allows one person to coordinate messages through a series of communications, which is prohibited under the Brown Act. So both staff as well as task force members should be wary of these kinds of communications. Next slide, please. So members should be cautious of communicating by telephone, emails, or social media with the majority of members on matters coming before the task force. One thing to remember is that sending or receiving a written communication to a majority of the members doesn't result in a serial meeting so long as there's no exchange of ideas, or these communications are resulting in a discussion between members outside of a meeting. So a majority of task force members should refrain from circulating motions, proposals, or similar documents among themselves for review, other than at a noticed public meeting. Next slide, please. And so some general tips regarding electronic communications. Refrain from replying all in emails. So if there's a scenario when you receive an email, like try not to CC the whole group. Don't communicate your position or make a commitment on a pending matter to a majority of members when you're outside of a meeting. And then make sure that any individual emails do not become a serial meeting. This can happen when members send information, like they forward the information and that member forwards that information and so on. So when in doubt, members should send information to the staff liaison, who can then distribute that information to the larger group. Next slide, please. Then below is just a list of general guidelines regarding subcommittees. So as mentioned, under the Brown Act, standing subcommittees must comply with the Brown Act, while ad hoc committees are not required to do so. So if the task force decides to form an ad hoc committee or ad hoc committees at a later meeting, we should first delegate the tasks and committee members at a public meeting. And then, as mentioned, standing subcommittees have continuing jurisdiction and are perpetual. So they have, ongoing tasks that's just like their job to keep going. That it's not perpetual. I mean, it's perpetual, unlike ad hoc committees where they're limited to a single purpose. And once that work is completed, the ad committee dissolves. And so committees must consist of less than a quorum. So we have 10 members in this task force, so that should be 5 or fewer members. And as a result, it's important to limit the number of committees and member overlap. The risk in having too many smaller groups formed with overlapping individuals on each group is that the information might end up being shared or discussed amongst all members through the various smaller groups. And finally, it's important that the smaller groups and the members as a whole do not email each other, as that can also be a Brown Act risk. For example, if a smaller group is on an email and then that email gets forwarded to the larger group and a member then weighs in through the email, that could result in a Brown Act violation. So we'll want to be cautious that members only email information to the staff liaison, which the staff liaison can then send out to the larger group. Next slide, please. So that concludes my presentation. As mentioned, this is just a general overview of these issues, and based on further direction from the staff, from the task force at a subsequent meeting, we're happy to provide more guidance. So thanks for your time and happy to answer any questions.
Thanks,
Okay,
Martin.
Norma has a question.
Yeah, in regards to the Brown Act, what about if we have a clarifying question? Like we just didn't really understand when it was happening and we just want to know a little bit more, what happens?
That's a great question. So generally, if it's sort of like you're asking a clarifying question, or it's just sort of, you're going to send that and then staff is going to respond. That's normally not a violation of the Brown Act. You're not seeking input from the group. You're not seeking, a response or a two-way communication. It's just like, you're just seeking a clarification, which is generally allowed.
Thank you.
Martin, if I could just clarify, when you recommended that people send information by way of the staff liaison, which in this case it's me, I just wanted to clarify that I'm not going to email the group. I would need to share that with the group in a public meeting, just to be clear, right?
That's correct. Generally, yeah. If we're going to get a bunch of ideas, you're going to want to share that on a public meeting. Again, it can also be a one direction where I would say it should be in a public meeting, because if you're going to be receiving input from multiple people, then yes. But if it's like what Norma asked and it's for clarification that doesn't require a response back, that generally is okay. But that's correct, and that you want to share that with the larger group in a public meeting.
So it's okay if everyone has an idea and then they email to Adams and he put all the ideas together and then we share the meeting.
Well, you just want to be careful, as I mentioned, with that hub and spoke scenario that I talked about. The staff member can end up being the intermediary, where the members are talking with him and then they're receiving input, and then Adam is kind of disclosing their input to the other members. So as long as the staff is not communicating to members of the body their comments or their positions of any other members, then Adam can receive those comments, and then as he asked, we can share them, when we're all together at the meeting.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. Barbara? Go ahead. You have to turn on the mic.
Yes. Thank you, Chair. I actually reviewed the video that Chris put together, which was really good. And that is about my third time watching it, because I'm on another commission. And my question is, if you get an email from a constituent, okay, asking for something, okay, we're supposed to forward that email to Adam. We're not supposed to reply to the constituent, right?
Generally, you should forward it to Adam, yes.
Yeah, and so when we forward it to Adam, do we tell the constituent that we're forwarding this to our liaison, our city liaison? What kind of feedback do we give to the constituent?
Well, it depends on what the constituent is asking. If it's just a one-on-one communication between you and the constituent, that's fine, but then you should still forward that response to Adam just so he's aware of what's going on, because it could be that the constituent is asking another person that same question or a similar question. Yeah, so those are the things you just want to be aware of. It's always good to keep staff informed of communications, just so we're aware that we're not indirectly communicating whatever's going on. You may not know that constituent is asking that the position of another member, and that can just create problems.
So let's clarify that. I get an email asking me about something that the task force is working on. Okay. I can refer them to the minutes, or I can reply. And when I do that, should I copy Adam, or should I reply and then forward my reply to Adam? I really need for you to provide me with a more specific answer.
I would reply, and then I would forward
or not answer the constituent at all.
I would reply. I would reply, and you can forward that information to Adam.
Okay.
Okay. Norma?
I just want to make sure I'm doing the Brown Act right. So throughout the whole, because this is kind of new for some of us. Mm-hmm. If I have a question, if I'm violating or not the Brown Act, who do I email or contact? Is it going to be Adam, or is it going to be you?
You can always. I mean, if normally you communicate with staff, Adam can always get in touch with me. I'm happy to provide my email, Chris Diaz's email. You can always reach Adam or Sharon and anyone in the housing, and we'll get the message, and we can speak with you further.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, thank you, Martin.
Thank you. Oh, and I just want to say to clarify what Barbara was asking with a constituent. So I think I remember, speaking with Chris. So I just want to clarify that, if you receive a constituent email, you'd want to send that email to staff, and as long as you're not, you can reply. Don't reply all, and just you can thank them for you can provide that response. Don't express opinions where that opinion is going to circle back to the full body, without being in a public setting. So I hope that sort of clarifies what you were asking further, Barbara.
Thank you, Martin. We should probably move on. We have several other items, but.
Okay, Adam, let's move on to the next item, please.
I don't see any public comment for this item. We have to do that for each item, but no one's in the queue or raising their hand. So, all right.
Yep.
Let me go ahead and open up the next item, which is 7C.
Okay. Okay. This item. Thanks the staff for helping me. I was thinking, in order to run this meeting more efficiently, we need to set up some ground rules for ourselves. So staff has helped me to put down a few items here. I'd like to go over with you guys, and if we all agree, then we go by this ground rules, and then feel free to add or comment on each one. The first one, show up on time. That's common sense. And come prepared. So I assume all of you read the last minutes and the next meeting's agendas or any document forward by the staff, we should prepare ourselves. Second, pay attention. So we have to respect each other's time. So we need to pay attention and put away any devices that interrupt the meetings. Share your unique perspective and please be brief. We have 10 members in this task force. We have to respect each other's time and give each other space. So focus your comments or questions to the point. So everyone have a chance to go through their ideas and comments. If someone spend too much time, I might interrupt he or she, just to give everyone a fair chance to express themselves. Okay. And number 4, yeah, is the same. Listen, and number 5, listen and be open to new ideas. Just don't be biased. We need to open up ourselves to everyone's perspective. So make sure we are not resisting new ideas. Number 6 is the point. Critique ideas, not the people. If you want to criticize, make sure you criticize the ideas, the facts, not the persons. And then we comply to the Brown Act. Now, what do you guys think? Is that a basic rule we go by? Should we go by this? Sounds okay to everyone?
Looks good.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Yes,
William,
looks-
for putting
looks
this
good.
together and
Thank
thinking
you.
about these guidelines. I appreciate that.
Okay. Adam, do we need a motion to approve this?
Yeah, it'd probably be a good idea.
Okay, let's have a motion to approve this basic ground rule. This is a working document. We could add as we go along. If someone go out of the lines, so we can add more rules. Okay. May I have someone to motion approve the basic ground rules for this task force?
This is Sanai. I motion to approve the ground rules.
Sounds
Ferdy, I
good.
second.
Who's that?
Ferdy, I second.
30 second, okay. Sarah, can you help me to roll call?
Sure. So we have a motion from Sanai, 30 second, and Jeremy,
Yes.
Ricky,
Aye.
Chair William,
Aye.
Norma,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Tina,
Aye.
and Barbara.
Aye.
Great, thank you.
Okay, let's move on to the next item, please.
Yeah, there's no public comments for that one. So yeah.
Oh, no, but yeah, we don't have a public to join us today.
Okay. All right. Back up to the screen here. And
Yeah, okay. This item here, I'd like everyone to agree a regular time. And the staff has looked at the poll, and it seems like second Thursday of every month works best for most people. What do you guys think? Should we have a regular meeting at second Thursday of every month at 5:15?
And Chair, if I could clarify, it's fine if the task force prefers 5 p.m. start. that might actually give us a little more time at the end of the meeting. because
Okay. Yeah.
sometimes behind us, so we have to end.
Let's change that to 5 p.m. So 5 to 6. So give the staff a little bit more room just in case there's a meeting after that for staff, like today. Is that okay for everyone? Second Thursday of every month?
This is Lisa. Thursdays don't work for me at that time. However, I could join, but I could not stay for the whole meeting. I have another commitment Thursday nights at 6 o'clock, and I have to drive there as well. So commute time.
How much time you could join on Thursday? Half an hour?
Probably 45 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, that will be 75% of the meeting already. That sounds
Okay.
good. Okay. Anyone else has a comment? Okay. If not, then let's set the regular meeting time for this task force on second Thursday of each month at 5 p.m. Oh, I see Barbara raise her hand.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to attend every meeting. Is that? But what if we have a conflict and we cannot attend a meeting? Like, supposed to be on vacation the week of June.
I believe you email to staff for an excuse. Oh, that's a good question. In other commissions, I believe that for every year there will be 3 excuses. How about for task force, Adam? Is there a rule for task force?
I'm not sure. I'd have to check on that.
Okay.
Sharon, do you know?
Yeah, I would say because the commissioner handbook would also apply for the task force. So yeah,
Yes.
so it would be similar as you stated, Chair Lam.
Okay, so hold on 1 second. I got a phone ring here. Sorry about that. Yeah. Unless someone come up with a rule for task force, I would say let's have maximum of 3 excuses for the year for our task force.
Okay, thank you for the information.
If I could clarify, Chair, I just put the next 3 months on there because we don't. Our direction from the mayor was that this was not a sort of a standing commission. It's sort of an ad hoc commission that will eventually dissolve once you have done your work and brought forward your information to the council. So in structuring your motion, you may want to leave it open-ended rather than just these 3 dates.
All right. Do we need a motion to approve the second regular meeting or second Thursday of the month for this task force? We do? Okay.
Yeah.
Let's have a meeting. Let's have a motion, please. Someone?
This is Rick. I'll make a motion that we meet at 5 o'clock on the second Thursday of every month.
Okay. I need a second, please.
This is Sanai. I'll second it.
Okay. Sarah, please help me to do the roll call.
Sure. Was that a motion from Ricky
Yes.
and second from Sinai? Okay. Then we have Jeremy.
Difficult, but approved.
Thank you.
Chair Williams,
Aye.
Norma,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
Tina,
Aye.
Ferdy,
Aye.
and Barbara.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Let's move on to next. Anything else, Adam, on the meeting time?
No, that's good. And no public comments, so you can proceed.
In a meeting.
Okay, next item, please.
Okay, I'll be brief. This is, you don't have to vote on this one, so you can relax, right? I emailed the task force members a couple of resources a week or two ago, and I'm not going to go into the details. I just wanted to quickly connect a few dots for you so that as you start to think about how you structure your work and how you approach your work, that you're not starting from scratch or reinventing the wheel, that you can maybe use some of the resources and things that are already occurring both in Milpitas and in the county and build on that and use that to sort of customize your advice to the council and build. So really quickly, I shared a few memos that describe some of the programs that the city of Milpitas is already supporting. Those include our rent relief program, street outreach and case management program, which is a partnership with the county and the heat team, as well as mobile shower and laundry services and more. The city also recently endorsed the county's 5-year community plan to end homelessness. And the county is going to other cities also to get, eventually all the cities in our county will have endorsed it, hopefully. So if you haven't already looked at the community plan, I did share that with you. Please take a look at it. It's not that long and it's pretty well done, and it'll give you a nice countywide framework to sort of see how, they put a lot of thought into that, and not saying they've covered all the issues in Milpitas, but it's just a good place to start. So definitely take a look at that, especially, and that plan consists of 3 strategies. So when you're looking at it, definitely look really closely at strategy number 3, because that strategy focuses on short-term solutions that increase the quality of life for unhoused residents while they're looking for housing, and also looks to create healthy neighborhoods for all. So that strategy 3 may align well with what you're looking at. There may be other things that you want to do that go beyond that. That's fine. But I'm just trying to sort of help connect the dots again, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel. And then finally, the county prepared a kind of a spreadsheet with a bunch of different what they call implementation program ideas that could be done for strategy number 3 of the plan. So again, that's another thing that I shared with you guys. If you haven't had a chance to look at it yet, please do. And that concludes my remarks. We can, unless there's questions, we can go on to the next item.
Any questions on the resources? Barbara?
Yes, Adam, on the rent relief, do you have to be a US citizen?
Good question. Sarah, you want to answer that one?
We partner with the Silicon Valley Independent Living Center, who does an intake to ensure that the eligibility criteria is met. Being a U.S. citizen is not a part of our eligibility criteria, and I don't believe that they ask about that when they're doing their intake.
Okay, so our city rent relief program that we offer it's not required to be a U.S. citizen.
Okay. I don't believe we require proof of to show proof of citizenship. They do have to show that they are, they have a lease agreement, and we pay the rent directly to landlords.
Okay, thank you.
Norma?
Yeah, I was just gonna add the families that we work at the Milpitas Unified School District. We do have a lot of refugees and families undocumented. They've been recipients of the rent relief, and yeah, they do not ask for any what is it? Would you just ask Barbara?
Citizenship.
It's like, so
I
no,
just want to make sure.
Yeah,
I
and
want to
that's
make sure
something-
that undocumented people
Yes,
are
yes.
eligible. That was my concern. Okay.
Yeah, no, definitely. And they are, and actually they do an amazing job. Veronica
Okay.
is usually a Spanish liaison. They do have other liaisons there that they work very close with the family and support them. So most of the families are families that I work with. They've been recipients and they're very pleased with the support and help that they're getting. So thank you for thoughtful.
Thank you for your comment. Sanil?
Question. The question I have is, I know we're talking about rent relief, but what about the families that own houses that they're probably going to be foreclosed on? Are we looking at, is the city looking at anything to help them out? And then two, the mobile showers, is it still only 1 day a week? Are we looking at increasing it to maybe 2 or 3 days a week?
I can quickly field the second one. There's no plan at the moment to increase beyond the 1 day per week for the shower service. It's kind of a pilot. It is a pilot project at this time, but if and we're gathering data on how well it's being used. So we'll reassess, and if if it looks like there's a lot more demand, then that's definitely something the council can look at.
Okay, thank you, Adam.
And Sarah, I don't know if you had an update on, I don't think the rent relief program covers mortgage payments, does it?
At this time, we're not able to assist with mortgage payments through our rent relief program.
Okay.
But you raise a great point, because that's there's a lot of, I've heard that too, that there's sort of a worries about a wave of foreclosures, and that's not good.
Right. Yeah, and that's the concern that I have, because since we haven't been able to, we're the task force trying to find a resolution or trying to find an innovative way to help with the current situation. I just don't want to work on just the current. I want us to look at the overall picture and let's try to nip it in the bud before it spreads.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you. Tina, please.
Hi, I have one question for Adam. I look at the first point that the Milpitas programs, it looks like more from the government. And do we have like a program that is it's with the local nonprofit agencies, community organizations, church, and business? Maybe they can provide jobs. Do we have a program like this?
Just to make sure I understood. So are you asking if we have a program in Milpitas that does job training?
My question is, do the Milpitas have any program that is partnered with third parties, like the local business or the nonprofit organizations or churches? So do we have such program, or can we have such program?
I am not aware of any, but Sharon or Sarah, feel free to speak up if you are. We can always reach out to our economic development department and see and check on that for you.
And if one doesn't exist, that's kind of the point of this task force, to try to figure out ways to keep people in their homes and get them off the street. So that's, we can look into that hopefully soon.
Yeah.
This is Sarah. I just have a little bit of feedback on that. I know that economic development is currently working on a partnership with NOVA, who is our local job force agency. And they're just kind of in the beginning stages, and they're going to be doing some community outreach about, the highest needs in the community, and they'll be developing a kind of a curriculum based off of that. So we can provide more updates as that kind of begins to develop.
Yeah, I'll make a note of that to follow up with you guys about it. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Lisa?
Yes, so that outreach program for jobs with NOVA, that is for all community members, including the unhoused. That outreach will reach that far out.
Sorry, I missed the beginning part of that comment. Can you say that again?
So for the job training that you guys are talking about, that you guys just talked about?
Okay, the job training, the NOVA job training, okay.
Does this also include outreach to, you talked about the community, is that all community members, including the unhoused community?
Okay, I understand. I don't know, but we can ask. I haven't worked with NOVA, so I don't know what their model is. But I'll make a note to ask for you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Okay.
Adam, I have a questions regarding the Milpitas app. Yeah, I know a number of people using the Milpitas app to report homeless people under the bridge or in the park and things like that. Could we ask the IT department to just add a category in the app so it's easier for people to report homeless?
I don't know. I think we'd have to talk about that internally a little bit about the intention of the app and privacy concerns and whatnot. So let me talk with Sharon and other folks about it and see. I don't know if that's possible. I mean, I think it's a technological. It's possible technically, but there may be other considerations that we need to think about. So let me check on that for you, Chair.
Okay. Lisa, do you have another question? Your hand is raised.
Yes, I do. Thank you. When you say report the homeless through the app, what is exactly is the intention on that?
Yeah, I have a number of group chats groups, and I see some people using the Milpitas app to report people sleeping in the park and having their stuff and camp under the bridge or on the side of a freeway. So people using the app to report those.
But what is the intention on reporting it in that manner? I guess I'm asking. What
is it to help them or to have
the help them or just
push them
somebody
away?
Somebody just wants to report them.
Yeah, I believe
they don't
someone
like
want to just to report them, and then I guess
I don't like that.
Yeah,
I think that's something that I would not personally be in favor of, but that's could be another conversation. I know it's getting late.
Yeah, I can say that you know, the city is deploying our outreach team by way of the county's heat team, which is staffed by Abode Services. So they're doing outreach. So to the extent that it just helps us let them know where they can connect with people, that I think is, from the city's perspective, something that is helpful.
Yeah.
So that might be a constructive way to think about it.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way I was thinking of. We know where these people are, then we can go and reach out to them to help them.
Exactly.
And so that wouldn't be a bad thing to be able to know.
Provided the intentions are pure, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would hope they would be with the city.
Yes, the outreach team's mission is to connect with people who are unhoused, assess them if they wish to be assessed, provide resources, information, and if they are assessed, then that increases the chances that they'll eventually be offered housing through the county's system, whether it's depending on what their needs are. So assessment is definitely the first step, and if they need other services, then they can help connect them if they want to be connected.
Okay,
Adam, I was just going to add on to that we actually have been developing a workflow for this referral process for public members. So that'll be coming out very soon. And we'll have a flyer where we'll be able to post it, and you'll be able to make referrals to our housing team.
Okay.
And that's where we'll be then, making the referral to the county's outreach team that will be going out proactively, visiting those members to build rapport and build trust, and to conduct assessment and offer services.
Thanks, Sharon.
That's great.
I think Norma is next.
Yes, thank you. I would like actually to know about a little bit more the app. I don't know if we do the research on our own, which I will be more than happy to do so, or if there's a mini presentation about what it is. It just caught my attention whenever you're saying reporting the homeless. How do you get to know which one is which? How do you get to know like their name or the style or what we're addressing? I mean, I've seen a lot of different homeless persons coming in and out. They're not consistent, or there's more, there's different. So how do we do that? And how do we know they're actually getting the services and not just double or triple and reporting the same person?
Sharon, I'm happy to answer unless you want to.
No, go ahead.
Oh. Yeah, go ahead.
I think the question is referred to staff.
Sure, that's a good question. When the HEAT team connects with people on the street, they eventually enter that information into what's called HMIS, which is the system that the county uses to track people who are in the supportive housing system and to track services. And it's kind of it's a tool for case managers. So that's, I think, the best way that they have to provided that someone identifies themselves as, gives a name, then they can, they won't be double counted, so to speak. So that said, what we hear from our outreach team is that it is very common for them to, they often do need to reach people more than one time. And sometimes it takes a few visits before someone's willing to do an assessment. So there should be, in some cases, more than one contact, but of course, unduplicated contacts is also, reaching as many different people as possible is also a goal of the team. So I think that, let me know if that didn't answer your question.
Halfway, but I will learn myself a little bit more about the app because I'm interested. Just again, it's just for knowledge, to know how we are, supporting our homeless, how we're identifying them. If there is a way to know if they've been served or not, or I don't know. It's just so weird. It's interesting though.
Well, currently the Milpitas app is a general reporting issue app. It's just reporting general issues. It's like you got tree fell down on the street or pothole and things like that. So there's no particular item for homelessness. That's why I asked Adam to look into it, to add an item for homelessness.
Yeah, and there are some challenges with reporting. Everyone has the right to have their information be private, including their medical information. So there's not really an easy way to, I understand where you're coming from on wanting to know the outcomes, but there are some limitations on what these managers can share with people who aren't involved.
Okay, Freddie, next.
Yes, I just wanted to know who is going to be doing the assessment, and if so, are they qualified, and will the county accept them so that they can be added to the roster to be housed or to get help? Are they authorized for the assessment by the county directly?
Yes, absolutely. Good question. The city is contracting with Abode Services, which is the official outreach team, one of the official outreach teams for the county. And they are highly trained case managers. Specifically, in this case, there is also trained to work with people with mental illness as well. So yes, they're certified, fully trained case managers. This is their full-time job. They're specialists at this job.
Okay.
And yes, once they do, if a client agrees to complete an assessment, it's optional. But if they do the assessment, then yes, that is the first step to being in line. For housing. Obviously, there may be a wait because there's not enough housing, but you need to be in the line, to eventually get housed. So that's an important first step.
So you're saying that Abode is a authorized assessor for the county itself directly,
Yes.
not a third party?
They are a nonprofit organization that has a contract with the county to do this throughout Santa Clara County, but not in San Jose. San Jose it's big enough to have its own set of teams, but the HEAT team works all over Santa Clara County.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, Tina, next. Oh, just we need to keep in mind the staff has to leave latest at 6:30, and right now at 6:22. So Tina will be the last one to ask questions now.
Thank you. I'll be quick. So Adam, one question. I remember that the city signed a contract with the county that we have an outreach program recently this year. And then there is one a city program manager. The question is who is the city program manager? And then the second question is, are we going to receive a report from the program? And I'm not talking about the private information and just maybe data. And then is it possible that the report will send to the task force too?
Yeah, good question. The city does have a case manager who does a variety of things. Her name is Charu. I believe I'm blanking on her last name. Sarah, help me out here. But she.
Sorry, Adam. Yeah, if you're okay, I think Tina is probably referring to the contract with the county for the outreach services.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she mentioned a city. I thought she was referring to Charu.
Yeah, so our department manages that contract, and we do actually have some raw data because they were working through the contract process. So they officially started in March, and we will be providing that report to the city council, and the task force will be able to see that too, for sure.
Yeah, once it's available to the council, we'll make sure that it gets to you as well.
Thank you.
Okay. It sounds like the resources is a number of us has questions on it. Perhaps we could continue the questions on the next meeting. Is that okay with you, Adam?
Yeah, sure.
Yes. Someone might in between meeting they may have more questions, so they want to ask. So probably let's have it on top of the agenda next meeting. Continue the questions and answers.
Okay.
On resources.
Okay. Okay, and I don't see any no public comments on this item, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Let's move on. We only have 5 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. The staff and I work together to list out some key topics we want to discuss in these meetings. I just outlined some of them here, and then by no means this is it. You know, as I mentioned, this is a working document, so everyone can contribute your ideas to this. Housing is one big area. Food and clothing, education and job training, substance abuse, rehab service, homelessness prevention programs, help people access benefits and resources. It's basically outreach to people. Community safety, that's related to our neighborhoods. You know, we want to make sure our neighborhood is safe. Littering and pollutions, at-risk youth and McKinney mental students, and we leave it open for other suggestions. So these are some of the topics we want to focus on the following meetings. Any more topics you guys want to add to this?
Can we do the social emotional? I think we're already doing that. The city's already doing that, but I don't know if we can add so many social and emotional services.
Okay, Adam, what do you think?
Sure, we can add that to the list.
Now, within that list, all those services, would that be able to be done in different languages? Like one of our main, you know, like Spanish, Tagalog, Vietnamese, any other language that might be available? I don't know if that's already implied.
Let me clarify. So this is, I think, just for a list of things that you guys want to work on and develop in terms of proposals to the city council, what you think the city should do next. So absolutely, if you feel that there's a need for multilingual social and emotional services and you want to develop that idea, then yes, we can put it on this list. And, you know, this is your list. This is, you know, you guys are driving this. So, but I just want to be clear, I'm not agreeing the city's going to do it because you guys advise the council and then the council has to decide what to move forward with.
Okay. So you already took down the comments? Adam?
I like Norma's comment and how you phrased it, Adam. Please add it.
Okay. Social and emotional services, multilingual.
Right.
Okay.
Barbara? Oh, you already, did you have more comments?
Yes, I wanted to understand what the number one item was. Is housing, does that include affordable housing and temporary housing within the city? Because I don't think we have any shelters or temporary housing or any housing for the unhoused in our city.
Oh, when I put that down, I was thinking of temporary housing is sheltering. Yeah. Well, it's up to us to define.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm in on that. That's
okay,
good.
Great. Ricky?
I would just going kind of chime in on the same thing. I think there's a big difference from housing and temporary shelter. I would like to make sure we focus some on shelter to that the middle ground to become housed.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyone else? We are at 6:30. I believe the staff told me that they have to depart from the meeting.
We're going to get kicked off if we keep going too much further here. The city only has one Zoom system, so we have to share it.
Okay. So we have to adjourn the meeting. So the next meeting, when will be the next meeting, Adam?
Looks like it's Thursday, May 13th.
Okay.
5 o'clock.
5 o'clock, yes.
Yeah.
Can we, in between meeting, can we send our ideas to you, Adam, and then maybe we can continue to discuss this agenda at the next meeting?
Yes.
Yeah, I can update this slide and
Yeah.
share it at the next public meeting.
Yeah, thank you, Tina. Yeah, please, everyone, if you have a great idea during showers, just by no means email to Adams.
Sounds good.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. It's 6:31. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.